And we're in it. Kicking things off here between Evil Geniuses and Nouns Esports, or as I call it, the George Revenge Game. Dun, dun, dun. Except he left of his own accord, so it's not really a revenge game. Maybe it's the Nouns Revenge Game on George?
I would say that's accurate. More accurate, right?
Yeah. Let's see. The Jilted Ex-Lover. And we got a Firebox who's been completely overlooked. So actually going to take first blood. Walco got nothing from Firebox. Thought that was going to be a cheeky angle. Didn't develop. George lost as well. This is looking like a good pistol round for Nouns. This is a nice start. It doesn't quite land the way they were hoping. Well, that almost got weird. bwills will prevent it from doing so, and instead it's a duel with EG.Wiz. EG v2. They're both there on the box, swinging independently. And I don't think he realizes they're both stacked up there, but at this point he's out of time, and he's out of life.
Well, Stamina already making his impact felt there on that pistol round. Gets the bomb plant, a couple of frags, and contributes to the first round victory in a very big way for that Nouns Esports side. Evil Geniuses, well, they're just going to have to settle for an eco. Might force up here. We'll see. But speaking of this map, of course, this was... You might look at their record of the last 3 months and be like, why are they here? 8 and 10, -5 round differential? Well, because over the last month or so, or at least over the last 5 games, they've won 4 of their last 5. They defeated Complexity, ATK, Vendetta, and Iron Blood. They're only lost to ATK as well, but still, those are some pretty big names at this level. That success over here, and this one should be pretty straightforward. bwills going to get 2, Sid gets a couple, the anti-eco, 100% successful.
So far. Until...
I mean, what's George going to do from this position?
3 kills. I demand nothing less. And...
Oh!
I mean, there was an opportunity there.
Yeah.
But all taken care of there. Nouns not going to stumble too much over this early hurdle. So, keeping it clean for Nouns. That's what you'll love to see if you're a Nouns fan. That economy starting to build early. But the guns are going to be out for EG. No kits. Limited util. Only the 1 Molotov. So retakes aren't going to be the easiest thing in the world. And they do have smokes and flashes. Only 1 nade as well. Not a lot of damaging utility. So a lot to get done with the guns. Is that the underpass boost up? If it is, they're in trouble. Underpass is being threatened. And indeed it is. It's going to get weird. Spam on. George dead.
Ooh.
Should have a good idea there's a second player here, but at least for the moment, EG.Wiz is going to stick around. He's actually going to wedge himself in the corner, maintain this control, and push up on it. There's no way they would expect this. There's no way they're going to expect this. EG.Wiz might be about to have the time of his life, especially with Walco pushed up. Cynic, deleted. 1, 2, easy cleanup. Bomb down. Great movement. Great play. Stanislaw gets caught, but there's still such a strong position to play from with full control of the C4.
Yeah, that was a really good pincer attack by EG from the apartments and underpass. EG.Wiz and Walco, the 2 players who have been together the longest on this roster, showing that chemistry in play there. EG.Wiz going to toss a nade down. That should do some damage. Yeah, a little bit to Carson. EG.Wiz doesn't know he's there just yet. Carson found out, and Rush takes care of business. Only bwills left standing, but for all intents and purposes, this round should be done. bwills at least tosses a Molotov on forward. He wants to fight, and I guess it's a good reason to fight because he has 3K in the bank and wants that loss code. And, well, he's going to get it. Walco delivers him a bullet to the dome, and there's the first round for EG.
It's one of those rounds where you would think on the initial posturing, right? You get caught on your underpass push, things might be disastrous, but EG.Wiz just finds the gap. He finds the spacing, and he makes the play. The wizard. Fun little note, we're only 3 rounds in. Stanislaw hasn't pulled the trigger yet, I don't think. 0 dar. That's going to change pretty quickly.
It's only a matter of time.
Yeah, it won't last. But, he's on a pacifist run through the first couple rounds. George up top. Oh, there's contact. There's contact. Rush sees it. This nade could be chunky. Indeed it is. Stamina down low. That flashbang could. Will keep George away from this peak, at least for the moment. They have a read that might be down here. And he'll have to burn a smoke to confirm that position. Another chunky nade. Goodbye, bwills. But so goes Rush as well. They're going to have a tough time getting George out of this position. He gained some altitude. There's another flashbang from his teammate. Oh. Well, no, Wiz will just do it with the gun. And there's George activated. 2 kills found. On to Carson now. Finds himself on his lonesome in a 1v4. Stan's not getting involved in this round. He's the lonely B anchor.
Yeah, he might. Yeah, honestly. So we'll see how much he actually gets activated here. But eventually, Nouns are going to try that B site. This time around, though, wow. They got their clocks cleaned by EG. And one thing I wanted to talk about on the Nouns side, Mike, is that in losing 60, they actually lost their most potent entry fragger, in particular on that T side. But if you look at his entry frags throughout the regular season, because if you recall, he left after the entirety of the regular season had been played, he had 71 opening frags and a 61.7% success rate on those opening frags. Closest to him was Cynic at 46. So that's a really big piece lost. And honestly, I don't think anyone's really filled that role just yet. They haven't had time. They only had, I think, 4 BO3s played with Stamina in the roster. I think Cynic is going to try and take that role a little bit more. At least I think he's 30% of attempts now on their CT side, but on T side it's actually Carson at 25.9% of attempts. So those two will likely take the entry fragging duties, but it's a big hole to fill. Still curious as to why 60 decided to just pull the plug, Mike.
I mean, who knows?
I think it might have had to do with the role he was playing, because I'm not sure he necessarily wanted to be the entry fragger, and his stats did suffer a bit as of late.
I never know. I've stopped trying to get inside the mind of a 60 at a time until I hear it, you know, from the horse's mouth himself.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not sure what went down there. Whether it was a disagreement in strategy, a disagreement in direction, no clue. What actually resulted in this? I know that I'm really disappointed because this Nouns team had so much momentum coming off of the road to Rio. It felt like,
yes,
and then,
they did.
I mean, they lose. They make the change for Jazz Pimp out for back with Carson back in, which you know is interesting for a number of reasons, and just seems to start to fall apart from there. Carson, the man himself, gets a Glock kill, maybe a bomb plant coming out of this, and indeed they do get it, so mission success. Bomb plant is all they will get. But hey, at least Stan got to crack his goose egg, and 4 players survive for EG, so it's very comfortable.
Yep. Good job by EG. They got 3 in a row. And the thing is, Mike, also to talk about it, some of the changes weren't their choice. Of course, George just going to EG Black, so that's something that just happens. And I'm wondering if that was already being discussed at the Road to Rio Americas, because I actually had a chance to speak with them all at the end when they got eliminated, and it felt like George was being unusually quiet, or I guess he might be a quiet person.
Yeah, that's just him.
But at the same time, maybe there were already things going on.
I don't believe so at that point in time. I think that is just George is quiet.
Maybe. But there was also, I asked if they were going to stay together, and there wasn't an answer either, so who knows how long this has been in discussion, or how long it was in discussion before it actually happened. I mean, George is one of the best up-and-coming talents in NA, so it makes sense for EG to target him.
Certainly. Oh, look at this aggression. Speaking of George, he does like a cheeky push. And that's going to be a great answer from Carson. Popping up over the smoke, getting the information on towards Rush. Now Stan has to withdraw. Damage has been done back the other way, but with no kills. This is looking rather rough. And we'll slip his way in towards the window. Walco's going to take space in the apartments as a response. Trying to get a little bit of info here. Timing could be everything. CJ coming back up. The underpass. Goodbye, CJ. That's a good equalizer. Not quite to equal footing just yet, but Stan might be about to find it. And he does, and more. 2-on-2 now. Stan did clear up 2 in mid and leave everything on to Cynic. 40 seconds. He's got his choice of the sites, but that's about all he's got. Wiz and Walco. Dynamic duo, been together a long, long time.
It's their 10th season together, Mike.
Long time. Cynic's creeping in towards B, so he's going to test Walco first. Presumably. On the check. Caution abounds. 10 seconds. He's going to have to make his move eventually. There's the check. There's the footsteps. Now Walco knows. So, he's got this guaranteed. Bomb plant at least does go down. So, Cynic gets that money secured. But it is going to be a fourth for EG.
Still, he slipped through and got the bomb planted at the very last millisecond and secures $800 extra in the bank accounts for Nouns. That's the difference between a buy and a save, and I mean, they have enough to go for it now with AKs across the board pretty much. Maybe a Galil to ensure some utility, but yeah, there you go. Nouns at least ensuring their economy is in good condition. But actually, that round in particular, Stanislaw just pulled it back. It was a good start from Nouns. You know, you saw Carson get a follow-up frag, make it a 5-on-3, but Stan finally getting in on the action here, finding his second and third frag of the match, and they were very, very impactful. CJ's going to eat a nade, goes down to 67. George spamming away towards top mid, tosses a nade forward, and the nade doesn't actually do that much damage. It's Walco with the AK, in fact, towards the B site. That takes down CJ. 5v4 now, advantage to EG. And Nouns, they want a lot more out of this round, given how much they have to invest into it and where their economy is sitting right now. And Walco's just dropping heads here. Cynic, his latest victim.
Popping and locking is Walco. Looking good, you know, with the reins of power suit him.
They do. I think it's a role he's very comfortable in, which makes sense given how long he's been filling it. Stanislaw is going to take down Stamina now, and now it's pretty much all EG.
One of the interesting things as well that I always find with players once they've been in IGL for a while, is it's very hard for some to stop.
Yes.
And counterintuitively, normally you would think taking the reins off would mean that you could focus more on your individual game. But for some players, they can't stop their brain from processing and thinking like an IGL. But they're listening to somebody else issue the primary calling, right? And so there's that element of like cognitive dissonance where maybe you have one idea, but you have to execute another one because your actual IGL is calling it. This is complete conjecture. No clue what this was like from Walco's perspective. But I'm just saying, I think there are players who are suited to calling and don't necessarily flourish when they don't have that option.
Yeah, and once they're calling, they can actually frag better because they're controlling the flow, right? So, yeah, I totally agree with that.
Counter-terrorists win.
And going to be a save here from bwills.
Yep, T-side save. Keeping that gun alive. See if they purchase around him. But it's been 5 rounds in a row for Evil Geniuses, right? It's kind of what we expected. Once the guns came out, and they have been rocking on through.
I mean, look, we talked about the fact that Nouns have been hot here as of late, but EG, it's one of their top 3 maps on Mirage. 8-4 over the last 3 months and a plus 53 round differential. The only map they're better on in terms of round differential is Inferno, which they're 10-3 on with a plus 68 round differential.
Now, John, correct me if I'm wrong here.
Sure.
But does this veto not have the 3 most played maps for EG and the 3 that they have the best statistics on?
That is absolutely true.
Pretty good veto if you're EG Black.
Indeed.
So you like that. We take those.
Absolutely. It's yeah, Overpass is the next map. It's actually tied the same record as they have in Mirage, 8-4, Mike, and a little lower on the round differential, plus 35, but this is a dream veto for sure for them.
So, bit unfortunate. Your Nouns. Cool, maybe doesn't match up perfectly with EG's.
No. I mean, Nouns are solid on Inferno too, so we'll see what that kind of gives us, but...
If we get there.
Yeah, if we get there.
Long road. A lot of
Overpass is
play out
the,
here, John.
yeah, and Overpass is the biggest hurdle. If if Nouns don't take this map, I don't know if we get past Overpass in map 3.
Long road till that, though.
Yes.
And all roads lead to Counter-Strike. When do we get a Roman map? We've got an Egyptian map now. I want to have a Counter-Strike fight in the Colosseum.
That would be cool.
My maker's when. You could do
I mean,
all roads
I
lead to
feel
Rome
like
jokes.
It probably exists somewhere.
This T-side wasn't built in a day.
Oh, no.
Jokes are available.
They're already thinking of it. Stamina.
Stamina! Couldn't quite connect with that hand cannon. Gets away from him. Now bucking Bronco's a little too tough to ride. You ever ridden a horse, John?
No.
No?
No, I've not. No, I have not. No.
Huh.
I wouldn't mind to. You know, one day.
One day.
Seems like it's difficult. I've been told it's slightly difficult.
It depends on the horse. But it's not, yeah, it's not easy. Stanislaw, this round got a lot more interesting than it was looking. That bomb's going to make its way over. Likely going to be planted. Carson is so very low, and they will pepper him down before he can punch in the numbers. A round win for EG as it does get a little bit intriguing right at the tail end.
A little bit, but overall, EG have really taken control of the momentum and the match at this point. Nouns have not really been able to contest. Aside from that little brief period there, like you mentioned, Mike, there's 5-10 seconds maybe. We're like, oh, okay, this is getting a little, perhaps, fiery, but no. It was EG quickly taking control. In fact, Walco denying the plant entirely right when Carson was going to put it to dirt.
Yeah, horse riding?
Yeah.
Nice kill from Walco. When I was younger, my grandfather had horses.
Oh, that's really
Get
cool.
to ride them sometimes.
Did you race them?
No. I was young and did not do it frequently enough to be at all skilled.
Okay.
Definitely not racing horses. That, I understand, is difficult. It was more like I sat on a friendly horse named Buckwheat, who, as soon as I was on, realized I was not an experienced rider and would slowly direct me towards the grass he liked to eat.
Oh.
And then would eat said grass while I sat on him.
He was hungry.
He was a great horse. Sweet, sweet horse.
Oh, man.
It's going to be a pinch in towards A. 2 players out by the ramp. It's Rush and George in this setup. Could be a strong one. If they just focus on the ramp side, they could potentially prevent this bomb from ever actually getting towards the site. There's contact. bwills going to back out of it. The timing on this push, though.
Oh,
there's that bomb.
bomb.
Stanislaw's been last elsewhere, but yeah, there's just no getting past it. Walco comes in at the critical time, and it's 7 in a row here for the geniuses.
I just love EG's timely aggression here on Mirage, right? I think it was it George a little while ago? Yeah, he pushed up, ended up going down, but the trades ended up being there, and it was Stanislaw to the rescue. But this time, Rush times it perfectly, goes out just a little peek down the ramp, and he finds himself a 2K, and the bomb delivered right at his feet. So 7th round found for EG, and I mean, it was so quick, right? After Rush gets those 2 frags, everyone else on Nouns tries to contest, and nothing happens at all. So they're back onto a pistol buy up here. 3 techs, 2 deagles. Looks like a quick play is materializing here. I think they want to try and just blitz this A site and hope for the best. It's not a bad idea because there's only Rush here. Everyone else will have to rotate back to the site. So here we go. Could be a plant. We'll see what Rush does. Ooh.
All right, Carson. All right, bomb plant potentially coming through. Wiz under pressure. Can't drop here. He knows it. He knows he needs to stay alive and wait for the cavalry. Always a risk that op's going to get run down, but now he can play his way back in. George takes the first on this retake. Flashbang's over. Time is of the essence here, even with kits available. Actually waiting too long. That flashbang's good, but bwills is better. Stan overwhelmed. Wiz finds one, but this one's done. This one's looking over. George trying to find some more casualties, but he's just out of time to actually make this round is. So, the first round since the guns have come out for EG, for Nouns, is going to be off the pistols. Faster play, catches them off target. EG's just never able to rally.
Yeah, that's just keeping it simple, right? For Nouns, you only have pistols. There's not much to lose, so just go for that straight play. I mean, I think there was 1:39 on the clock when they started throwing their util, so pretty much immediately after spawning, lined it up, tossed it in, and went forward. They got that nice Tech 9 headshot onto Rush to pretty much take down any threat that was on that A site in the early goings. And then what was a little precarious for them was retrieving the gun off the ground off of Rush's body. They finally did get it though, and that was one of the difference makers in order to secure that bomb site. There was a wicked deagle shot that came through as well. Peek around from CT. Anyway, speaking of peeks, Wiz does exactly that from window and takes down Carson to kick things off. A nade connects onto Stamina and CJ. They do return the favor onto Walco's down at 34, but Walco's got reinforcements. Wiz gonna get a shot through the window, and now it's a 5v3 with everyone venturing in towards the Nouns esports side.
That was the chance. He had to snap one of the prongs off this defense at the very least. At this point, Stamina's stuck. The bomb's down out in the open. This gets activated, but he doesn't expect another player in con. Just keep throwing bodies at him until they bring him down, come up the works, and now you just have Stamina. Ooh, does not realize Walco's gotten past.
Yeah, Walco was aware of the fact that Stamina was somewhere on that bomb site. He just couldn't track him down. I think the same for Stamina, but
Yeah.
of course Stamina looked the wrong way, and Walco...
Here's the thing, right? The 2 W's of the roster, they're rocking the W's right now. 13 and 12 kills, I think, respectively, for Walco and Wiz, both 100 plus DAR. It's looking dang good for the very tenured players on this roster.
Oh yeah, there's no question. Wiz has always been an incredible talent, perhaps a little mercurial, right? And okay, we'll maybe talk about that after. Because it's going to be a
Missed that chance.
Stamina. Yeah.
He spotted the player, but the nade was already in hand, and it's like, whoopsie. Missing that chance to pull the trigger. So Stamina gets con and the kill. George jumping for info, but at the cost of his life. That information was not worth the price. And this might already be a mulligan of a round. Site's been lost. They don't have any positioning for it. Wiz will give it a look in. But if he's not given a fight, there's just not a lot of inroads here. Stan gets the first. He's into ladder. I think that may have been heard, though. I think Carson knows. And indeed, he does. So without awareness, again, out of position, out of time, out of chances here, EG's going to have to concede.
Yeah, the save's a good call here. I mean, Stan, Walco, and George are all low on money, so dropping them a gun will help immensely. And Wiz with 6.5k can actually drop a couple of A1Ss, assuming he's got that equipped. Anyway, now it's going to get a fourth. Nicely done for them. Took down one of the heavy hitters in Walco, and then once they did, that B site was ripe for the taking. What I was talking about earlier, of course, and we mentioned this before, was a very mercurial player before being picked up by EG. Once he gets picked up by EG, and I think, you know, having his focus divided between school and CS was no longer really an issue, and he could focus 100% on playing Counter-Strike, that's when he just completely skyrocketed. He's been unbelievable since that point.
Very exciting as well.
We knew he was capable of it, right?
Yeah, I mean, dating back to that 70 kill Dust 2 game.
I'll talk about it all the time, right?
Always been a Wiz believer.
Yeah.
Greatest game of Counter-Strike I ever done did see.
It was really good.
Wrote his name among the stars that day, that boy did. Carved it with the Became a legend. A wizard.
He was facing off against RCF, if you recall, on that one.
I do. High Coast, man.
Where did RCF go?
Not North America.
No.
Tell you that much.
He was so good. Yeah.
Don't know what he's up to.
Yeah, I don't think he's up to much of anything in Counter-Strike anyway.
Well, mid control has been lost here to Nouns. Got a pretty good hold on it. How do they want to execute off of this? Seems like they want to try and threaten in towards connector. Had some luck here previously when George was jumping. This time George is going to stay planted on the ground and find a stamina as a result. Nice one. Smoke preemptively in to give George a little bit of cover. With that A1S, you don't want to get overwhelmed. Just don't have enough bullets for it. Uh-oh. A kill from bwills. Could put George under this serious pressure. He still has Wiz at his flank, so he feels relatively secure with that all watching. But, yeah, okay, playing anti-flash. Carson moving ahead of said flashbang. Now it is all in the upper to keep this defense intact. That's a nice early frag. Cavalry's starting to come in here, but they're bringing the pressure. And Wiz knows. Stanislaw close his hand. Walco coming in from Con. And a nade takes Cynic off the bomb. So ramp 1. Have they spotted the connector player?
Not yet.
They know it's either connector or jungle. It's got to be. Now it's all just about that player. They've got him lined up. They've got him spotted. The Molotov was a little bit too early. And with Wiz putting that bullet through, it'll be a comfortable defuse and a 9th round on for EG.
That's such a great adjustment by Wiz, right? He gets the pick towards connector. I think he realized there were a couple more players there as well. And then sees the one at ramp trying to peek around and draws attention. But he realizes that's just bait and backs off to a more secure position and is able to get 2 more frags afterwards. Just very well played by him. Here we go.
1A
round number. Yep.
early. There's a chance.
Yes.
Just go for the fast play. Molotov down, though. That's important because this was looking like they were just going to go screaming on in if they didn't see the util. Still might do it. Nouns. Ooh, they've got that thought in their heads. They're going for it. They're going for it. Better get your head turned around on a swivel. The staminas are coming. Shot. There's another lease on life, and Rush now dropped. The faster plays have worked out beautifully for Nouns. And I might just be seeing them through to a 5th.
Feels like EG are having a very tough time adjusting to this fast pace of play that the Nouns are kind of bringing forward towards that A site. Stamina is going to take down Stan. That leaves only Walco just trying to save this AK. It's not going to be that great of a buy-up in the following round if Walco loses this AK. So he is desperately looking for a save. He knows that the pressure's on and they are pinching forward. Cynic would have had that frag, but Walco slips back in the jungle. Where the heck did he go? Walco gets the headshot onto Stamina. That could be enough to keep him alive. Flashbang tossed on forward through the broken wall. And will he survive? The answer is no. Cynic sprays him down. That will make the buy-up a lot tougher here for EG as we head into the 15th and final round of play here in this first half, Mike.
It is really interesting how well Stamina slotted into some of those entry roles as well, right? He's always been a pretty fearless player. I mean, dating back to the Recon 5 days. You know, he would fly into angles. So, you put him into an entry role. You got a few players on this team who could do it comfortably, right? bwills, Stamina, Carson. All players who've ably played that entry role before, the space-taking roles. Speaking of space-taking, hello, Stanislaw. CT top mid. That's not where you're supposed to be.
That's a good play.
Let's see if he gets him. We have flashbang for the corner. Behind him. So here's the lineup, and he splits the difference. Neither one killed.
Yeah, that's tough for Stan. Hasn't been the best first half for him, but he's still got a lot of Counter-Strike left to play here. Rush going to push into the apartments. Or excuse me, into Palace. No, he just backs off.
Hold the W. Feel the power of the NA side.
They can't. They're pretty disciplined, are you two?
That they are. I just want them to swing, you know? And again, a different split. So much damage has been done onto these players. You almost feel like someone's just going to pull an ace here. George got the first, but he's shut down. And that's going to be 6 rounds for Nouns. Bit of a recovery here. We start to get ready for the half here. John, what'd you see in that first?
I mean, honestly, EG were pretty comfortably in control until Nouns, of course, got that round back. I think it was right here, or close to it, when Nouns were able to start getting their act together. Pretty impressive, honestly. We'll see what happens, though, as we head into the second half, and if that was enough for EG to close this one out.
3-round gap separates these two teams. Is a pretty normal split. Sees the first half of Mirage undecisive. Evil Geniuses will have to get it done here on the attacking side. And, well, mini-map to be believed. They've made the right read here in this pistol. 2 players up underpass, but there's no one actually between them and a bomb plant right now. And that bomb plant, looks like it's coming in hot and heavy. Flashbang over. No one will be able to stop this. The flank will be swift, but now it's been spotted. Stanislaw knows. So faster they go in towards the site, propelled ever forward. Stan can hold on to this position. Well, he can't. So that's a moot point. Bomb down. And a tough hold on this retake. Rush with 1. Softens up the movement from Nouns just a touch. But they're still coming in thick and fast. And now damage towards the back of sight. It's Market that they've chosen to defend from. But CJ still puts that under pressure. Until in a big exchange all under George. He's taken down the first. Not a lot of health, but headshots win it in pistol rounds. And it's CJ who will find the dome.
Yes, should have enough time here. Yeah, more than enough. And that will be diffused as Nouns are going to take this round. Actually, almost
You
down
say
to the
more
wire.
than enough. Not a
Yeah.
lot more. Not a
It's
lot more,
actually
John.
pretty close. No, but look, I mean, EG, although they did get the bomb site pretty much for free, that was kind of a retake setup for Nouns. They were leaning more towards the A side and defense of it, but if they can push up on the flank and get in through underpass and then put pressure on from Cat and Market, then they're in pretty good shape to make it very tough for Evil Geniuses to hold into the site, and that's exactly what they did. And of course, with Stan going down without getting 1, that made it even tougher. Or at least without getting a second for himself. I think he did get 1, Mike.
George up the
Maybe
ramp. Point person here. So he's trying to sail up. Block presence here for Nouns. Got a lot of bodies and Stamina's going to strike first. A lot of support here as well. He doesn't even need it. He takes the next.
Wow.
And, well, this initial foray in towards the site has been completely rejected.
And this is a force buy, too, from EG.
Not doing a lot with it. Stanislaw finally might change that. Stan getting activated here would be a big find for them in his second of the round. Puts this back in question. Goodbye, Stan. He's done his work. Now Rush and Walco need to see it through and, well, make that just Walco. And make that nobody. A great response here from Nouns. Puts down the force buy. No bomb plant either means EG are going to have to take this eco.
Oh boy, look, I mean, Stan gets a couple of nice frags. The problem was, even though that happens, Nouns had the read and they were just waiting for the last 2 EG players to come through. Look at this. Stamina knows that they're going to try and hit this A site, given how much presence was shown prior to this, and it's just an easy clean for Nouns Esports, who cut this lead down to only 1. It was 8-3 at one point. A 5-round lead for EG has been completely, or almost completely, erased. George going to try and change that here on the Deagle buy it, but Wiz eats the utility, goes down to 20 HP, and now Cynic is just going to go right out towards mid. This is a dangerous spot for him to be in, so he's probably going to have to retreat soon, you would think, or else a Deagle bullet could connect on him, and that's a free Galil as well for EG to pick up. But Beewles is supporting though, so it should be okay, and yeah, there you go. Beewles gets 1, Cynic another, and Nouns in full control.
Being in full control, Cynic is not going to slow down at all. Goodbye, Walco. Knock, knock. Open up the door.
Well, we can see why Cynic has 30% of the attempts on entries.
There you go.
The squad on CT side.
He do like a W hold every once in a while.
I should say openers, but yeah, he does.
He's also a player who, on the T sides, I mean, they leave alone a lot of the time. You know,
Yep.
to sort of work things himself. Which, again, lends itself to some opening kills at times. When you find the gap to exploit. Again, going to be aggression here towards mid. This time it's Stamina, and it is just as successful. Flashbang back to the other side. Not do much to slow him down. Heavy pressure on. They're committing into this fight. George is vulnerable to the nades. Wiz isn't. Wiz finding tons of damage, trying to find safe haven at the cost of much of his health. This is messy, but a huge find from Cynic. Stanislaw thought he had found gold on the site. Instead, Law could come down to Wiz.
Carson's got to be careful.
He's clearing for this. clearing for this. On the fade, he's got it. Only needed the one shot, and while they have found some ground on towards A, they've not got the smokes to cover this off, John. And they've not got the George to plant the bomb.
Cynic likes the Galil, it seems. 5 frags over the last 2 rounds with it.
Say it's an underrated gun, but it's not. It's properly rated.
It's very appropriately rated.
It's kind of meh.
Yeah.
It's all right.
A little less meh than the FAMAS, but still
True,
meh.
true. On the scale of menace, it does have the edge. One of this round, it's just going to be a meh Marie.
Yeah.
That's going to be now. It's pulling into the lead. I mean, right off the half, right? 4 rounds. The Nouns side.
Yeah, the first time they've had a lead since the early goings right off of that pistol round. So, good for them. Getting to double digits first, given that, again, EG looked like they were cruising to victory and maybe just took their foot off the gas pedal a little too much and have allowed Nouns back into this and more. EG going to be only on those pistols, 3 Tech 9s, a Deagle, and a Peach 50, but, you know, if you recall, that's when Nouns were able to get things going for themselves, was just on a pistol buy-up, a straight-on hit towards the A site, and perhaps EG are going to do the same thing.
Yeah, it looks like they're picking the right side, too. It's soft coverage on A. Everybody's bunched towards connector instead. They do have smokes. If they just rip the smokes for jungle and go, there's not a lot that can be done to keep them off of a bomb plant. And, of course, they don't know that. So they'll wait to group up all 5. Bring the util back over. Here's going to come the exec. Smoking towards jungle. Now Cynic's starting to move a little bit further forward. Just not spotting anything, which won't coax his teammates to stay. And there's the play. Flash is over. On they go. Pressure on. Rushing his teammate's flash, perhaps, and that leads him to his death. Bomb down. Round is, frankly, already fairly successful with that bomb plant. Now let's see what damage they can do. Cynic's working his way on the big flank, but for the most part, it's going to be able to spike towards spawn. And there's a TK, and that's the only K for EG.
Yeah, I don't think it's not really that big of a deal, but the difference between that one and what Nouns were able to pull off in the first half is that Nouns had that smoke for jungle and connector to really isolate that position, and they got the entry onto the A site, which allowed them a rifle upgrade. EG actually lost a player here, still got the bomb plant, but it was not a favorable situation that they were in, and of course Nouns cleaned them up. At least the bomb plant comes through as mentioned. That helps the economy get a lot more comfortable, meaning full utility. The AWP can get into Wizard's hands, and we saw how good he was with that on the CT side. Let's see if he can get back into his comfort zone here. Wiz gonna flash himself out potentially. No, just wants to give some space for potentially Walco to actually have a peek here. Rush, waiting for a push, and this is a good idea. So he's just going to walk right into his crosshair. There's the opener for EG.
So an opening pick found. Doesn't feel like they've had one of those in a long time. Nouns have been mostly getting the initiative here. Finally. EG roll high. Oh, flashbang's perfect. Stamina manages to bring that one back, so advantage doesn't last very long.
Yeah.
Oh, Stamina. He realizes the player's out. No, he does not. That's the A-site defender gone. She's going to be on a Cynic. Maybe past the Molotov, but straight into the crosshair of Stanislaw. And now this goes from bad to worse here for Nouns. Don't have a toehold towards sight. They certainly have enough money to justify giving this a look, but shouldn't be any easy pass back into it. I think you see bwills already starting to back away. Walco's on the hunt. He's in B.
Yeah.
Maybe a little too aggressively. Needs to get a bit closer to sight. Really thinks this is a full save.
I feel like Nouns might... No.
No, they don't have time.
Just
They don't have a
for the
clock.
save at this point. Yeah.
It's about the exits. It's about the exits. All about the Benjamins here.
All right. So, EG finally cracked the scoreboard here in the second half for the first time, in fact. But before that happened, Nouns Esports won 6 in a row.
Still, it's a good way to do it. 4 alive. Really dynamic take. Never really give Nouns a chance to be into the round.
Yep.
Stamina tried, but otherwise, they were totally denied.
I think
So
Stan did
now-
a great job, right?
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say Stan did a great job there, slipping on through
Yes.
connector and catching Stamina on guard, and then he gets the follow-up as well.
He started to have a nice run of form here in the second half. Maybe overall statistics don't reflect it just yet. Let's see what they can do here. Spread early for the T side. Heavy emphasis on connector again. We've seen this quite a bit from Nouns early. Stamina. Finding one. By Palace player. Goodbye, Wiz as well. Okay. Primary Opera Stamina reporting for duty here, John.
I can't believe how well he has slotted into the primary op role. Two really brilliant shots onto Rush and Wiz, and now EG are trying to get into the B-site. There's not really much of a choice, and Stanislaw will get that first frag. Saw the shadow, and at least an opportunity here, but Carson's position's too good. Yep, Carson will take down Stanislaw, throws a smoke for himself, and that really isolates EG. Still 55 seconds left to work with, but their path to victory is getting narrower and narrower. Whatever, I can't say it. More narrow
if George
by
wins
the
this
second.
kill, this one's huge actually, because now
There
you've
we
got
go.
Stamina really isolated, right? And he's got the op, so the damage that's done onto George isn't going to be a big factor here. And there you see it. The bullet either hits or it misses, and in this case, it misses. Now we've got a 2-on-2. There's plenty of time to get that one down. They need to cross it. Uh-oh. Went the wrong side. Went the wrong side, Walco. Yeah, kind of stuck. Smoke goes in to give him some cover. He's even trying to dodge the nade at the expense of his teammate. No bomb plant here. Cynic. No mercy. No quarter given. What a response.
Unbelievable stuff there. Cynic able to come through and take down both players, one with the nade and the other with the rifle. Cynic managed to dodge it, but like you said, it was at the expense of his teammate. Just a great recovery there from Nouns after it looked like EG were going to try and take a stranglehold on the round. Alrighty, Nouns only giving up one round so far here in this second half of action. Op still out here for Nouns. It will be up against Wiz very shortly. Stamina, I believe, can see over the tippy top of that smoke, and Wiz is boosted up on his teammate's head. Maybe they'll try for a run boost here, but I think they just want visibility over the top of that smoke that was just thrown into connector. Nade going to get thrown by Cynic, and he actually connects onto Wiz and Walco, and he's continuing to push up, Mike. He loves to do this. Oh, and the timing just barely not in his favor, because he could have caught ahead if he was only a moment sooner on that push. Seconds here. Walco going to peek around into connector. He finds Cynic. Finally an opening frag. A full minute into the round. See, he trades it back, and George finds one for his squad. It's back and forth action here, and all the frags just bunched up together. 3v2 just like that here onto the B site. But look at where Nouns are. George could clean them out if he peeks at the right time. He's going to wait for reinforcements to come in. In fact, no, he has to do it all by his lonesome. Carson takes down Rush. Unbeknownst to him, that's the bomb also dropped, and George is trying to use this smoke to create some chaos. Sees the op barrel. Going to peek around this corner eventually. There's one. 14 seconds left. He has to go quick, and he can't. bwills drops him, and that's another round going Nouns' way.
Ah! There we go. Just wondering what was going on there. Button was pushed, John.
Yeah,
Button was pushed.
I couldn't hear you. Thought you DC'd.
Yeah, you know, I just left you alone.
It's like, forget
Thought,
it,
you know
I'm
what,
gone.
John's got this. John's got this. Not a problem. Well, as it is, Nouns now very well positioned to try and take this one to the bank. Investment going to come in here for EG, but I mean, you just don't have a whole lot more of these. Don't have a whole lot more of these. No op in this one. Limitations on your utility. Stand on a Galil. Not that much you can do. CJ gonna get aggressive in towards ramp. He's got bwills close at hand. And Cynic once again in his favorite spot on the map. You'd think at this point they'd always be gun out clearing that. But he catches one yet again. That's the spot that just keeps on delivering. Cynic and Stamina posted up on the underpass. We'll take his. Fire stuck handily in the corner here. Nate does suspiciously little damage on the rush. But once again, EG down a man with a minute hitting the clock and no real obvious path towards a bomb plant.
We talked about both teams not really having faced off against each other much over 2022, and it really was not much. One match played on November 26th in the ESEA Autumn Cash Cup number 4, and it was a narrow win by EG Black, 16-14. So it just goes to show you that Nouns can, of course, compete toe-to-toe with EG. If you haven't already had that proven to you here, by the way, they have come back on Mirage.
Wiz. Gotta find contact here. It's Carson in the back of set. He's the first one here. If he goes down, well, he's gonna get his at the very least. One already found. The cavalry being summoned on in with only 10 seconds. Carson just needs to buy time, and he knows it. He's just trying to stay alive. He'll be forced out, but they have to plant the bomb, and that's not happening. Round is over on the clock alone. It's gonna be a 14th for Nouns, and I think Walco just got clocked. He did indeed.
Oh boy. This is going from bad to worse for EG, Mike. Nouns Esports are on a, I believe, more than that, perhaps even more than 10-1 run here, because they really were great towards the latter part of that first half as well. So, wow, EG are reeling with only one round taken here in this second half.
Never gotten established here on this T side, John. They just have not gotten established. They haven't been able to find the early contact. We've had Nouns dictating that first engagement in most rounds, right? Cynic has been able to do whatever the heck he wants in towards mid repeatedly. They've had success on the A ramp fight. They've had success controlling Palace. They've had success in the apartments. I mean, really, it has just been Nouns all day since the half switch. And EG, I mean, if you're going to rally, this would be a heck of a time to do it. Maybe just 5-man hit, something.
I mean, I think the problem here is that Walco didn't get the loss bonus because he went down after time. So now they, instead of perhaps they would have been able to go for a better buy-up than this, they can't because Walco's at 1.2K. But I do agree with you, Mike. Something simple would be best here. Just try and push a bomb site and take it quickly, because everything else, waiting for time to expire, trying to wait for Nouns to make a mistake, it just isn't happening. And one of those reasons is that they're allowing Cynic to freewheel, like you said. 3 times he's pushed towards top mid, and each time EG hasn't checked for it.
Ability going to be deployed to take some of that mid control early here. It does seem like this is eventually a finish A, right? You move the player underpass, you establish some mid control here from top mid, shift your way on through. Fan started to do exactly that. You saw the Molotov come out here. It's because based on the utility and towards mid, Nouns was worried there was going to be a full run-up cap.
Yep.
It's not a bad read. Here comes the play, though. It is the A site. There are 3 players here, but Stan takes down the first. A big first kill. He needs the next. He's got it as well. Jungle now cleared out. Guns picked up for his teammates. And CJ smoked off. Go for a peek over, but George is ready to punish that. And here we go.
That's
Evil
it.
Genius is looking poised to put another round on the board here.
I mean, look at the money here for Nouns. It's not great.
No.
Carson down at 350, Stamina 2100. Sure, maybe bwills and Cynic can support them, but either way, a save is the right call.
Absolutely got to do it. Maybe Carson goes for a peek in to try and get some damage here at the tail end, but he's not contesting for the round. That's
that was a great two-pronged attack, Mike, from Connector and Ramp. Stan in particular getting a 2K, and then the guns were able to be picked up. Carson will at least clean up 1. That's Wiz going to go down. Maybe rush 2. They got to get out of here. The bomb's going to explode. And Stan tries to fight towards CT.
Well,
and
now
Mirage gets dropped. That's not... I mean, it's okay. They have enough money to absorb that. but still, you kind of want to build up your economy a little bit.
Yeah, it would have been nice to get a few more guns out of this. Would have been a real jump start to the eco. Instead, you just say, well, we did it with pistols, so we're fine.
Yeah,
It's all good.
exactly.
It's all good. Carson with a cheeky few frags on the tail end there. A little stinger, even in a loss. They're inflicting some pain. 3 rounds still the only gap, right? You win this one, you crack the eco over that CT side, and suddenly the game's back on. Yeah, late to the party for EG, but hey, better late than never. Pressure onto the firebox player. Stamina. He's able to keep his teammate clean. CJ will be lost. Now everybody's here for the CT side. They overwhelm the sandwich player. Here's the fight. Out from sandwich. Cynic's ready for it. And Rush and Wiz are nowhere to be seen. They weren't with their teammates. They're making another play.
If only they had gone faster here towards the B side. I think by the time they get here, Carson's going to be waiting along with Stamina, and yeah, that's indeed the case. Stamina could literally just hold the apartments at this point. He's actually going to go onto the site proper, and there you go. Finds Wiz trying to creep up Cat. Only Rush left. 109 on the clock, and I think what you were alluding to a little bit, Mike, was the fact that they probably should have been on the site supporting their teammates instead of moving around elsewhere on the map. It would have been better, and maybe they win that fight on A and get the plant, perhaps even the round. But instead, they're kind of just hanging out, looking for some other frags on the map. Rotations hopefully would come through, and maybe they could catch them off, but just nothing happened. And now Rush is going to have to save. So promising for EG after finding that 11th, but this one just fell completely flat.
He's giving us a look. Giving this a look with 25 seconds. He's going out.
Did he see the barrel?
Ooh, I don't think so. It might have been a pixel if he did. I just given the audio cue. Definitely didn't. And Carson punishes. So, at least he doesn't get clocked, but still not much getting out of that round. Map point now found for Nouns. They just need to tap on one of the next 4. And we're moving on to Overpass.
Wow. Yeah, I mentioned if Nouns have a chance of coming out with victory here, they need to take Mirage, and they are poised to do so. Still, yesterday we saw how difficult it is to find that 16th. We had an identical scoreline, 15-11, and then it ended up into overtime. So do not count Evil Geniuses out of this just yet. They do love themselves some OT and very tightly contested matches. 3 Galils make that 4. And a big green in Wiz's hands to try and make the magic happen. And Stamina connects on the first shot. Man, Mike, has he been good with the op or what?
He has indeed. He really has. 20 kills. Actually, 4 players, sorry, at 20 or above. Has this been a team effort here from Nouns? But right now, the team that's given maximum effort is EG. Again, better late than never. The bomb's going to need to make a long transition around towards site, but the money not being great here. You'd imagine Nouns are thinking about the save. It's actually wild how even the kill count is across the board for Nouns.
Yeah.
21, 20, 20, 20, 10.
I mean, everyone's been implicated at one point or another. Cynic with his pushes, Stamina just holding the fort with the AWP. bwills kind of the same thing, just waiting for fights to come to him. And Carson's been a nuisance for EG, in particular on the rounds where EG wins, but he's able to get some frags at the end of it. And he's almost going to put himself in a position to do so again. No, he wants to play it safe. This is definitely the right call again, because the economy is still not that great for the Nouns side. So EG hanging on. They get themselves a 12 and make it work with just the Galils and the op.
Terrorists win.
3 more rounds needed. But with that economy now cracked, does Nouns want to drop guns around here and try and make this one work? Take the halfie, be good into the next. Carson's just invested. So he's going in. He's dropped the FAMAS over. And they're going to try it. They're going to run it here.
Why not?
Yeah, you got a pretty dang good buy. Not bad by any measure.
I think the problem is if you lose it, it's pretty much around 30, right?
Yeah, it's looking a little OT. Just a little bit. Emphasis in towards mid here. Stamina looking with that AWP, trying to find a gap in the smoke, which he has, to be fair. But mid is not being contested from the EG side. They're looking like they want to slam straight in towards the B site. So it's Carson instead who's going to have to hold them at bay. Rotations from Catwalk can be pretty swift, but they're not on just yet. That smoke might drag them further towards A. Now here comes the exact. They're rocking on through. Carson!
No
How on
way.
earth? Wiz! His flashbang blinded up Stan, I guess, and they just didn't realize it in time. They didn't process. Carson should have been a dead man every day of the week. Instead, now, that might just be the game. That might just be the math. Carson, he takes it all. 4 kills, and Nouns move up 1-0 in this series.
What an absolutely incredible performance by Nouns to pull it back here across the board, Ray. You already talked about it, but at the end, Carson challenged in such a big way. It felt like EG were going to take it, but no, Carson gets a miraculous almost 2K, right? The flashbang helps so much, but at the end of the day, it will be, as you mentioned, 1-0 for Nouns.